Holy Hugo Strange and the multiverse of madness, Batman! Tiki here, and I have watched through every episode of Batman the Animated Series for the first time. And alas, I am deep into Justice League. Dragon, tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But now Batman's become part of a bigger universe, and the mission goes on as we enter the greater DCAU.
And tonight we're talking about A Better World, parts 1 and 2, naturally. Dragon, this was really good. As far as being like, you know what I liked about this episode, oddly enough, that I wasn't expecting, is that this was a very good Flash episode. Dragon, as far as Batman goes, there's some good Batman stuff in it, don't get me wrong, but I gotta tell you, I feel like there's about as much good Batman stuff in this episode as there was in the in one of the episodes that I watched for research purposes, the one where they go to the alternate future and Batman is kind of like a freedom fighter there, and then the big hug at the end.
The Savage Time.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't know. I kind of feel like I prefer that small dose of Batman to this small dose of Batman. But I enjoyed myself, and this is, of course, a multiversal story. We've got Atomic Beast in the comments. Hey there, Atomic Beast. Happy to have you. By the way, Dragon, I am... for the longest time, as soon as I found out this is a multiverse story, I was going to go with Multiverse of Madness, but then it hit me. I could do the, I could combine the Marvel and the Batman with Hugo Strange. So I must say I'm rather proud of that wholly, if I do say so myself. All right, so Dragon, this is a solid one. Like I said, the most I get out of it just through the lens of Justice League itself is... like, this is by far the most interesting and pathos-filled that I've seen Flash. And I also really appreciate that we get a lot of good Flash and Superman stuff. Batman is on the sidelines. I know I can pretty much guess the big scene that you want to talk through because of the Batman stuff. I can pretty much pinpoint an exact moment.
It's like two scenes, Tiki, so it's a 50-50 shot. So it's
right.
Not really that impressive a guess.
All right. But suffice to say, this was a I will say it threw me for a loop in the opening, which we'll get to. I was like, wait, what's going on? Oh my God.
Yeah. By design.
Of course. And I guess one last note, Dragon. I am pretty sure Clancy Brown is officially becoming my favorite Lex Luthor, man. He's fantastic. I'm loving him even more every time he shows up.
Yep.
All right, so why don't you give us some context here?
Well, first off, let me just put this broadly in context. Just again, a little reminder. Yeah, Justice League, renowned for giving Batman some of the greatest Batman moments in the DCAU, but albeit though moments, as in again, we don't really do full Batman episodes really in the DCAU.
You know what was weird about this episode, Dragon? That I'll point out that you kind of warned me about. We go to the Batcave and there's no Alfred.
Yeah.
That felt odd.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to remedy that, as you know. They'll remedy that, but,
Yeah.
Anywho. But seriously, that's kind of the thing, though. It's kind of the double-edged sword. We're going to give you some of the greatest Batman moments ever in a DC, DC animated context. But, again, moments. So, regardless.
So it is really kind of tricky for our purposes,
Yes.
It's like
exactly.
we've kind of been puzzling through exactly how to approach it the whole time.
Exactly. So, here's the context on the background and such. So, this was directed by the great Dan Riva, who brought us Secret Origins Parts 1 and 3. And
Danny boy!
Yep, good old Dan Riva. I like to think of him as the Dan Scanlon of the DCAU. So, good old Danny boy worked his way up from the bootstraps of character design on BTAS. Man who brought us the Baby Doll episode. So, Dan Riva.
Man. I mean, iconic right there. That's like top 10 worthy. Anyways.
So he did that, of course, but most recently for Justice League, he did Maids of Honor. Maid of Honor.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the writer on this was one of my boys, Stan Berkowitz. I love Stan Berkowitz. So Stanny Boy here, he did the Genesis. I want to say, I'll go as far as this. This is, I'm pretty sure, documented the first time a multiverse was ever hinted at in the DC animated universe with Brave New Metropolis, the
Uh-huh.
Superman the animated series. You didn't get around to that, right?
I did not,
Right.
unfortunately, no.
I figured on that, so
Yeah.
that's fine. You didn't need it, but just in case
It's
you're
only
curious.
because of the situation I have with
Yeah,
HBO right now
I
that
know.
you
That's
know of.
that's why I
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I kind of I think I guess I wisely assumed. Yeah, it probably would.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, you don't need it. All you need to know, Tiki, is just Braden in Metropolis was kind of the prototype for basically again the first time you saw Superman in kind of an authoritarian or kind of tyrannical kind of view.
Okay, I'm glad you bring that up, Dragon, because this is evil Superman done right. I mean, that's
Exactly.
one big thing with this episode, you know.
So
I
Brave
feel
New
like
Metropolis.
evil Superman is so played out and everyone is so sick of it that people's reaction to it is almost a joke unto itself. But this is I like that I wouldn't quite call this evil Superman. This is this is almost kind of like what if Luke Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi went to the dark side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what if he did kill the Emperor?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I equate it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why Luke Skywalker's on the mind.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So the first time they ever did that is historically you had Red Sun, and then which again, even in that story, Superman not pure evil, just has an allegiance, a very
Uh-huh.
specific allegiance. So that's where that kind of idea gets put out. Then the DCAU comes along, and they did evil Superman right, and then that goes to the Injustice Gods Among Us game, which also gets it right, and then we do it to death. So it should have been cut off right after Injustice. Okay, Injustice the last time they ever do. To me, that's the cutoff. That was the last time.
Injustice is like the perfect moment for Walter White to die, Dragon.
I don't mean the animated movie. I just
if
mean
it was just that and nothing more.
exactly. That's what I mean, folks. When I say Injustice, I ain't talking about the animated movie that got it all wrong.
But then we had to go and do Brightburn, and I'm still traumatized by Brightburn, Dragon. That was such a waste of a premise.
All right, but you see my point.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so again, we do that right there. Stan Berkowitz also recently he had done for our purposes. You watched Tabula Rasa, so that was Stan Berkowitz
I did.
as well, and you liked that. It had some good Lex stuff in it, where he basically he misled Amaze. Amaze is a good character, by the way, in case you're ever wondering. He comes back I think one or two more times. He's really good. Also, New Frontier, the animated movie that adapted the Darwin Cook story, which is like the ultimate Justice League story. Okay. So, studio worked on this was Dong Woo, not Dong Yang. Don't get too excited. Dong Woo.
Dong Woo.
Now, Dong Woo, they do some amazing stuff in the DC. They did some of the big standout episodes in JLU, like they do Clash, which is the big Superman, the Superman Captain Marvel fight. It was Captain Marvel, darn it, before we called him Shazam. And the Great Brain Robbery, which is a big Flash. It's like it's probably the one of the fan favorite Flash episodes. There are two episodes that are like the Flash episodes of the DCAU, and that is one of them. Okay. Anyway, also did all the Static crossovers, did Big Leagues and Hard as Nails. All right, so the background of this is really interesting, so I'm going to condense it here. So the pitch for this originally was there is a full-on evil Justice League in the comics called the Crime Syndicate. Okay, which essentially they existed back in the olden days, and then they got revamped by Grant Morrison in a really cool book called Earth 2, which basically...
Why am I not surprised that Grant Morrison is involved in this concept?
Now, a lot of people are going to be familiar with the Grant Morrison story because it was essentially adapted in another good animated movie called Crisis on Two Earths, which has that's where you get the Owlman Batman from. That's where you get that whole thing. So two things happened in the production of this episode. They were just going to do, okay, let's do a crime syndicate because we need villains for the Justice League to go up against. And what's more classic than kind of like good Kirk meets evil Kirk? I mean, am I right? So
right.
So two things happened when they were breaking down the story. Big thing is that they realized, oh my God, there is so much more to say if we make them not the crime syndicate, but just basically the Justice League is looking at themselves taking an alternate path rather than just like mustache twirly evil, which kind of made it more like a what if than an Elseworld story, more like a what if this happened? We just kind of went with it going forward. And the other thing is that Bruce Timm, in between seasons, he had read this comic called The Authority, which is good. It's kind of like it's the best way of summarizing it is it's not the boys per se, but it's like it's like a grounded Alan Moore version of Justice League, where it's a super team, less existential, more just like, well, if the Justice League exists in the real world, here's how it would go without them being like corporate sellouts.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, it's a Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch who've done a lot of great Marvel stuff. Anyway, and it fit the season 2 mantra of the Mel Brooks saying of "ring the bell," like let's go a little darker this season. Let's not be afraid to go. Boy, do we go dark this episode.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So, Berkowitz had explored, as I mentioned, he explored the multiverse thing with Brave New Metropolis. So the door was kind of open, with Superman to kind of go that way with kind of the evil Superman done right, or the morally complex Superman done right. The costumes, as you notice, we have a bunch of new costumes on our guys this episode.
Yeah, what's funny is that I was kind of thinking like, oh man, this must have been hell on just a design point of view, to come up with these costumes for what I'm assuming is going to be a one-off.
Yeah, fun fact, okay, was not as challenging as you think. Here's
Oh,
why.
okay. All
So,
right.
back when they were conceptualizing Justice League for the first season, it was briefly considered. So that's why
No
they
way. Are these just original costume
well,
designs?
well, here's the thing. So Bruce Timm contemplated, like, what if we gave the Justice League kind of a uniform look, as in they're all kind of like that's why you notice like a similar pattern on like the belts and everything on all these Justice League
Uh-huh.
costumes, and that's why there's kind of like a metallic sheen and stuff on them. Is that there was a thought of like maybe giving the Justice League a uniform look, and again, I don't think ultimately they would have gone forward with it. But here's the thing that shut them down from doing it completely. Okay, um, DC, Paul Levitz, who I've met once, he's really nice, he's a cool guy. Paul Levitz, who ran DC at the time, I guess he was the editor in chief at the time when they were working on this. He shut down the thing completely, saying, "No, you cannot. You can change anyone else's costume, but you cannot change Batman, Wonder. You can't change the Holy Trinity's costume.
Yeah.
Batman, Wonder
Yeah,
Woman,
yeah,
Superman.
yeah.
You do know because they know people are gonna. A whole bunch of people are gonna watch the animated series, and if they see that, why don't you have this costume in the comics? There's gonna be like a ripple of like, oh god, we're gonna have to change it. We don't want to change it.
Uh-huh.
So, so that happened. The last thing mentioned here is Tiki retroactively. This set up a whole lot of
Ooh.
JLU stuff. That's why this episode's so important retroactively. It's like they just did this as a one-off. Again, thinking that this season 2, as far as they were concerned, was again with the whole Korra thing I've been keep ramming into our episodes here. Is that they did not know they were coming back after this season.
Right.
So yeah, they did not know that they were going to get as much mileage out of this episode as they did. Like, there's a pretty much in my a whole season of Justice League Unlimited is basically the aftermath. It's kind of a sequel to this episode.
Gotcha.
Pretty big. Okay, all that said, let's break it down.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into part 1. Of course, we have a really crazy like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Superman, no.
So the Trinity, they're fighting their way through the White House to face the president.
It's almost kind of like an X-Men 2 opening with the White House, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, Tiki, who is the president?
Who is the president? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to remind me on that one. I didn't catch it.
It's Lex Luthor.
Oh God, of course. I'm sorry.
Yes, so Lex.
It's like I didn't. Oh, you know what's funny, Dragons? I didn't even catch the whole like that he's the president. That's I feel stupid now.
Yeah,
all right, of course
it's kind of okay. Well, that's important, Tiki. So remember that. Well, yes, Lex.
Because I was just like I was so caught up with like, oh my God, they're really going after Lex. You know.
So this is a huge in the arc of Lex in the DCAU, where in the comics he became president for a brief spell, and they kind of adapted that into the show for a bit. Here. Mainly through here, and then they're basically building that going forward in JLU. So yes, Lex at this point is like, oh, what if Lex actually made it to the White House in the 2 years from now, let's say. So just the great. Then we have like the ultimate confrontation between Superman and Lex, and I love this scene. Stan Berkowitz wrote the heck out of this scene. My God, where Lex is in full like Nixon like shredding documents mode here. Like it's like the full, like the pull like another Lex Luthor. It's a very House of Cards kind of moment here. You know, he's going full Mad Dog. They're going to burn for it. Burn. It's like crazy. So
Atongbi says it was this moment that Lex flew too close to the sun. Heat vision.
So yeah, I love this as the ultimate idea of Lex. Lex has always been chasing Superman's power, which I guess played out to the ultimate end here is that he would basically have caused World War III trying to measure up to Superman with the power he's amassed in the White House. And he's basically confronting Superman with this, like a Batman Joker scene, essentially, but for Superman and Lex, just like saying, it's like the whole like you and I are the flip side of the coin here. We're the best of buddies. Where in this case, you've been my greatest accomplice over these years. Whether it's intentional or not. Your
It's almost
ego.
like a Killing Joke confrontation.
I know, and I love it.
Uh-huh.
Just Lex spinning the dynamic that they've had in the status
Oh,
quo.
Superman, you wouldn't be much of a hero without a villain.
Yeah, you've been my greatest. I love when he says you've been my greatest accomplice, and you see the shock on Superman's face as the goal this guy has. Superman has great reaction shots in this episode, by the way.
Oh yeah, totally.
So just in Haley he puts his
finger Lex
over
is basically just making the point where it's like him not killing him every step of the way is basically as bad as him like doing the stuff himself.
Exactly. You're just as guilty as I am. This mess is as much your fault as it is mine. And he's about to push a button that's going to do something terrible.
Such a freaking like victim blaming, gaslighting tactic on Lex's part.
Which is absolutely what Lex Luthor would do.
Totally.
So then we have like this huge moment for our DCAU Superman. Again, we kind of flirt with it like briefly with that Brave New Metropolis episode. We go full tilt with it here, like dear God. So there's at least 6 different ways I could stop here, but all of them involve deadly force, and you don't do that. So we have essentially so I attest, and I'd be shocked if anyone would really fight me on this. The inspiration for the Injustice Gods Among Us game has to be this scene.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely seems to be very much the blueprints of that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point out that with this episode, of course, we get into the, all the crazy multiversal stuff, but I like how it kind of throws you into the thick of it. I like that, like the characters haven't had the costume change yet.
Yeah.
So for all we know, this is our continuity that we're following. So, and then, of course, we have... I like that the death happens off screen too.
Yes. Now, Tiki, I keep mentioning this. My headcanon was always that Superman was always reluctant to use his heat vision. This is the thing always kind of confirmed.
Yeah.
There was a build up and a payoff to Superman. Every time he uses heat vision, like he used it against Darkseid, it was a big deal. When he uses, and you saw the terror he felt when he fried Lois in that nightmare. Sure. So him frying basically the White House weenie roast, as the question will call it episodes like down the line. It's the White House weenie roast that goes on here, and off screen like, Batman, do you smell something burning? And Wonder Woman's horrified reaction of, oh God.
It's such a great cold open, Dragon, because it's like everything is spelled out for us, and yet we don't really see any of it.
Yes. Oh God. And again, this is the difference between this. I don't want to just put down Snyder left and right here, but seriously, this is what the difference is.
I mean, Snyder did well with the Justice League, but we can put down Snyder, Dragon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So this is the big difference in case anyone.
This is dark, mopey Superman done well.
Exactly. The difference to me is there's a discussion, like the discussion we had before the heat vision moment, and Superman saying, "I did love being a hero, but if this is where it leads, I'm done with it." It's like that's an adult conclusion that he has gone to, and you understand. Like there's an argument to be made versus like I'm just going to be random and I'm snap necks and there's going to be no plan. I'm going to be framed for crimes and just Lois dies. That's it, man. So it's like there's none of that Snyder machismo.
I mean, that's the thing is that that's the big thing I don't like about the way that Snyder wrote Superman is that it was basically just like Lois Lane was like the ultimate kind of like toxic codependent relationship to end all toxic codependent relationships, Dragon.
Yeah, who am I going to stand in the bathtub with?
Oh God.
So again, Justice Lord's Earth pretty much, again, that is the terrifying thing, Tiki, where, again, like, they are in those costumes, just, like, one alternative choice. It kind of sends into a tailspin.
Very much Marvel What If.
Exactly, and the haunting question at the end of the episode also kind of has built into it subtly, though, and you kind of have teed up here as to kind of make it all cyclical, is the change of this universe just that they're called, because they were just called Justice Lords. That's the only discernible difference in that they are called Justice Lords. For all we know, this just happens in the future when Lex becomes president for our time, which they play with in the show, by the way, in Justice League Unlimited. Is that we're on track of this happening? And it's the question: was the name change like the one change that created this whole universe, or is it actually the White House weenie roast?
All right, and then one other thing we need to go over is Superman's reaction where Wonder Woman, he's standing at at the window, seemingly solemn, and then Wonder
Yep.
Woman comes up to him, "Are you okay?" And then smiling dragon, the most
I'm
chilling
great.
Superman smile. It's like,
Yes.
"I'm great."
And again, the difference being it's chilling versus just shock value. Oh, look what Superman
Right. Yeah.
And also, Batman, here's the thing, too. Batman agreeing that it had to be done, it shows you that Lex has done something really terrible to bring Batman to this, first off.
I like that we don't exactly know what it is either.
Well, there's the thing, they kind of casual. It's they're revealed later in the episode, but I like that we don't draw like a huge like laser amount of focus to it. There's like the fact that they build that up though is like, yeah, I mean, for Batman to be on board with that, it's like, okay, that's saying something.
Sure.
Yeah, like this universe, there's something really scary about this universe. Like, it had to be done. All right, so 2 years later, and this is the time when we do a time jump, and it doesn't completely torpedo the story. So 2 years later, it does. See, if it were 1 year later, we'd be worried. So 2 years
This is
later,
this is where we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, this is Elseworlds territory, is it not?
well, Tika, this is the fun thing where this is essentially a glimpse at the JLU setup. We're in the future, and it's so eerie how similar the realities become between our two worlds here.
Okay, well, I hope in Justice League Unlimited they don't just all randomly have Lord attached to their names.
No. The Lord, no, they. That's what I'm
Because
saying.
I thought that Dragon. If I had one dumb nitpick with the episode, I really didn't like that. You know.
Well, again, Tika, as I said, so again, the
I understand, like, for the story purposes, why they're doing that, but I don't know. I kind of like Lord Wonder Woman, Lord Martian Manhunter.
Well, no, I mean
maybe it's because I'm watching this on Amazon Prime, and so I have the X-ray thing pulled up, and so I can just see the credits on all of it. Where it's like they literally credit them differently. Dragon, that was the stupid thing.
Yeah, that is, because given that it's literally the same voices, that is kind of
like it's literally like Kevin Conroy is Lord Batman.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I didn't know they did. But no, what I'm saying is, like, I'm saying to you, they're called. I'm saying the Lord was what this universe was just called. They didn't suddenly just change their names to Lord. I just want to make that distinction clear. So they were like Lord from the outset. So
okay,
instead of being called League, that's the thing. That's the main difference.
Okay. So it wasn't like because of the Lex Luthor thing. They just all grew a huge ego and were like, "Oh, we're lords now."
Yeah, that's the thing. Like later they have
okay.
Like this universe calls themselves the Justice League.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's the haunting, like the question, like, is this universe is Lord the only change, and then the rest is actually going to happen in our main universe? That's the haunting, like, the ambiguity at play there. Like, is that the difference? So 2 years later, we have kind of a JLU setup where basically you have the bigger watchtower where they have a bunch of technicians and crew of people.
This is it's a very cool flash forward setup because we're kind of getting all these like, okay, like, let's put the pieces together. Like, what is going on after all this time?
And roughly, I mean, 2 years is roughly where JLU starts with this setup too, which is the really eerie thing about this. Like, oh god, anyway. So yeah, so the Justice Lords, they're pretty much controlling everything. We see like they're like Superman's telling the president, who, by the way, this is around. The Bush administration was around, so there's definitely some allusions to it here and there. Like, he's talking to a president, looks a little like Bush. And about the whole election
thing.
Oh
man, that's going to be interesting to track because, of course, I'm very I lived through the Bush administration to the point where I was pretty, it's not like I lived through the Bush administration, but I'm saying, like, I was a teenager in the Bush administration, so that was the first administration where I was actually paying attention to it and I'm pretty knowledgeable about it. So that'll be interesting to track.
So given that and the whole election kind of runner in the first
right,
part,
right.
So there's a little bit of allusion to that, and obviously Lex coming into the White House.
Was this right around the time of the Bush-Kerry election by any chance?
God,
2004.
Well, that's the thing. This would have been this probably would have been 03 or 04. Probably would have been 04. Not season.
Okay, that's funny because there were definitely stuff like there was stuff like that definitely happening. Dragon.
Yeah, I think it might have been 03. I didn't. It's 03.
Because remember, 04 is when Fahrenheit 9/11 came out.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm definitely seeing some real parables there. All right.
Well, don't quote me on the year, but it is close to that for sure. Okay. Anyway, so the point being, like the idea, like, they want to keep a president in power. They have they don't want another Lex in office. So, like, maybe it's an election year, like a sporting event. Like we kind of have these every couple of years. Like, no. Like,
basically how Don't Look Up treated the presidents.
Pretty much. So, and here's the heady idea that things are so boring in the Justice Lord's universe ever since they took over because everyone's kind of in
It's
fear
like
right
the
now.
opening song from that one random Land Before Time movie.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. One of the Land Before Time movies literally starts with a song where it's like, it's boring, it's really, really boring.
I mean, to
I'm
the
just like,
point.
great way to sell your movie, guys. Anyways, I'm sorry.
This is done to the point where Green Lantern and Hawker are sent to deal with like a riot at a college because there's no crime going on.
You
Like
know
that's
what? You
that's
know what's funny about that is I honestly found that like low key chilling, Dragon, because like they were gung ho about it, man. They were
mm-hmm.
like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's stop these protesters. I
Because they're
was like,
looking for
okay,
something to
like,
do.
well, I mean, I guess yeah, the giving them something to do part for sure, but I don't know. I did find it low key chilling that they were so ready to just go in and fuck up this peaceful protest. Like I kind of got like, I don't know. Am I supposed to be getting that vibe too? In
Well,
addition
no,
to
you
the
are.
whole malaise?
In addition to that, yes, Tegan, that there is like the idea, the chilling part of it for me is that Jon Stewart doesn't have like any doubt in what he's doing, but he also has kind of a
That yeah,
justified
the
position.
fact that it's Jon Stewart, yeah, that kind of messed with me.
And it's the fact that you kind of get his position though, where again there was a lot of fear and uncertainty, where now there is like again there is an assumed safety, but look at the fear that you're instilling in others though. That's the thing. So it's like there's kind of an ignorance to the fear that you're causing.
Right.
So that's the chilling part of it. So you're right. There is like the protest thing is absolutely there's something there. Anyway, so also this is where we kind of hit the note here, where the Justice Lords lost their Flash. Now,
Uh-huh.
JLU gets into this a lot more, Tiki, but the idea is that Luthor killed the Flash in like a public execution, and
And
that's
Dragon, up until now, I've kind of viewed the Flash in the DC animated universe as, he's very fun, very likable, definitely a jokester, very well written as far as the jokes go. But I've always kind of felt him as the most expendable of the lot, just because he's kind of had the least development. And this episode definitely changes that.
oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. Like, basically, the main thing they built up is that Flash and Green Lantern are buddies. So it really kills me to see like Jon Stewart like missing his. I just keep expecting to zip around here and say something stupid, but he's not.
Right, yeah.
And my heart goes out to him because they built up that friendship and like the idea. Oh God, the Flash something happened to the Flash, and later on is the idea that it was like a public execution. That's why Superman was so pissed at Luthor.
That's fucked.
Like it's a whole. I don't want to give away the visual, Tiki. It was horrible how
Oh
Luthor
man.
did it too. God.
That's like some
Anyway,
Walking Dead shit right there.
absolutely yes. Like the way it was done is very haunting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway,
All right,
so
Tom Beast has some comments really quick.
yeah.
Says, when I first see how the Justice Lords speak, I find their dialogue to be wooden and stiff, which is probably intentional.
Uh-huh.
And then
for sure.
says, it seems to me that the Justice Lords are trying to justify their actions, otherwise they go insane.
No, for sure. I mean, the fact that they have become, power mad tyrants, but if they admit that to themselves, and basically it's like, well, we've ruined the world. What do we do now?
Right.
Like we can't really unring that bell.
So, Dragon, Superman can't come. Why can't he come?
He's got a dinner date.
Oh, dear God. And this is going to lead to one of the darker Superman Lois Lane moments.
Well, let's just talk about it. So, brilliant scene of Superman. So Superman's just if Superman's suppressing freedom, that's obviously going to lead to trouble with someone whose his whole shtick is built around the First Amendment, like free speech.
And I just love how over this shit Superman is.
There's the idea that
It's like you can just tell he's had this conversation a million times, and he's like, "Oh God, Lois, here we go again."
There's a lot of trouble in paradise, and it's funny. They kind of hint at it like a very occasional that Superman and Lois are officially an item in Justice League, but he still hasn't told her that he's Clark Kent. So seeing it here, like the fact that they're so intimate, he's having like lunch in
I also
apartment.
love the minute detail that's like very accurate to the kind of small talk you have on a very awkward date like this. Like it's cold, it's gazpacho, it's supposed to be.
Fun little catch, and this had to be in their minds when they wrote this.
Oh God.
Batman Returns. Batman has the Vichyssoise, which is also a cold soup.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Batman has his cold soup. Superman has his.
Oh man.
Okay. Just saying.
Now I just want to see Batman and Superman get it, like Batman versus Superman, except it's just literally just like a competition to who can make the most tasty cold soup.
You know what Superman does just to spite Batman?
Oh God, what?
He uses his heat vision to heat Batman's up. Not
Oh
very cold
man.
now, is it? Oh, what happened? Your soup's warm now.
Oh God.
So okay. No, in all seriousness, so you just have this. You have this. You have this debate
It
about
is like the most domesticated that we have ever seen Superman.
which I really appreciate. Honestly, it's just kind of so
I
it's kind
do,
of
but
hard.
it's like domesticated in a bad way, not
I know.
domesticated in terms of like, oh, look at the cute couple. Domesticated in terms of like, he is the bitter, angry loser husband dragon.
Yeah. Just seeing Superman, like the fact that man, Superman really does have everyday problems. so
Right,
so they're having this.
exactly.
So they're having this debate they probably had 1,000 times about freedom versus protection, which is the whole deal with the Justice Lords. And Batman interrupts, and I just love Batman has like the great sardonic line, "I love." So basically, he calls Superman away, and Lois is under house arrest, that's a chilling thing right there. The fact that
It is,
not
yeah.
just being gaslit and everything, it's the fact that
I mean, no leaving the premises, no unauthorized guests, no phone calls. I mean, it's basically like,
she's under
just
house
full
arrest for her
on,
protection, which is messed
yeah.
up.
All right.
Only temporary, yeah. Yutzes, like saps, whatever. Okay, so Batman's assembled the Justice Lords to the Batcave, which, by the way, first appearance of the Batcave in Justice League.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Now, to be fair, we see this is the alternate universe Batcave. We go to the actual Batcave later. I'm just if you want to get all nitpicky with it, but the
Okay.
fact is we're in the Batcave in Justice League. So there we go. So this is this is the headiest idea we got to talk about Batman, so we don't have to worry about it later when we talk about the big scene. Heady idea that Batman in the Justice Lords universe, ever since they took over with a forceful hand, he's accomplished his mission,
Yeah.
which is shocking. It's and think about it. It's like he's to the point where he's dabbling in protecting other worlds. Like Batman discovered this, this multiversal, this way to jump the multiverse and everything. He discovers universe because he's bored as all get out because his mission's accomplished. He's looking to continue the mission in another universe because he's finished it, which is such a heady idea that Batman's. It's like it's like basically why Batman remains a part timer in the main universe because with all that power at his disposal with the Justice League, there might be the temptation to clean up Gotham through ways that might cross lines that he doesn't feel comfortable
Ooh, I
with.
like that idea. Yeah.
But if he does that here, then it's going to end up being this, which, as we see, leads to a really scary, kind of watchdog police state version of Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the point being, Batman tells them about the other universe. We basically see, a little fight with Lex in the suit that you like. He's in the, he's in the Lexo suit. Essentially, long story short, they find, they're fighting them. They find the Flash is still alive. They see, okay, so we should probably, they think they're going to help this universe by going there and taking care of business in their own
Yeah,
demented way.
and kind of like the supervillain definition of helping.
But I love that you can
Helping with
see
air quotes.
Yes, and I love though it's like diluted. They're still the good guys, like a supervillain in their diluted sense. They are absolutely intent on helping. You get that, but it's absolutely like going about the wrong. We're going to completely jack up their world and make it like we're essentially going to take over their world, but we're going to phrase it in the nicest way possible.
Exactly.
So then, okay, cutting back to the main universe, we got some fight with Lex. Big things, Superman Flash moments, which are nice. Or Flash had to use the bathroom, which he does not like to do at super speed. So that's why Lex basically got into the suit during the
I like
stakeout.
that logic. I really do like that logic.
So they find the power disruptor, which is going to be important at the end of the episode, which he's basically about to use on Superman, I guess. Batman has the coy line of like, what is that? Like breakable, I hope. So he's about to smash it. Flash, kind of makes up for his folly, disarms the thing. Wonder Woman threatens to break Lex's leg, and Flash apologizes to Superman. And this like really sweet, accepting kind of the apology sort of way. Like, hey, apology accepted as soon as you clean things up here.
Mm-hmm.
Cute. Okay, so the Martian Manhunter enters, the Justice Lord Martian Manhunter enters, and basically lies to him, feeds him the lie that our universes are
Yeah,
collapsing
I
in on each
really
other.
like that the plot just gets going like right off the bat. It's like, like our Justice League they're pretty much like taking in hook, line, and sinker with this.
All but, yes, all but Batman and the Martian Manhunter, I like to think.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Because they have a great moment. There's a great Batman moment. You know me, I'm a sucker for the Batman Martian Manhunter relationship. So I love we have this quiet scene while the other Martian Manhunter is giving the spiel where Batman's asking him, "Did you read his mind yet? Martians don't do that. Can't or won't. Both."
Both.
So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
And again, feeds into the whole Batman Superman are kind of like the mentor figures to the Martian Manhunter. And it's kind of a question of the Martian Manhunter over time, is he going to be more like the superhero like Superman, or classically in the comics, more like a detective or a manhunter like Batman? So I like that Batman's his cynicism is kind of educating the Martian Manhunter here, and it will come in handy later. So I kind of like that.
Hmm.
Okay, so they take the bait, they go to the universe, and they fall into a trap. I like that our Marshmallow is apologetic about it, like, sorry about this, and he disappears, and they get electroshocked. Hawkgirl's nth metal mace allows her to break free, and then Green Lantern blasts the heck out of her. Bam!
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's there are definitely some shocking moments here for sure.
And remember, this is still a Green Lantern. He's in the at this point he's in the full committed relationship with Hawkgirl that the real ones had not consummated yet. So he's like,
Right,
I'm gonna
right.
blast this alternate version of the woman I love for her own good. Pretty twisted. Okay, so let's see. So Justice Lord Batman stays behind as the rest of them make the switch to the main universe, in which they pick the heck of a time to do that. Because Tiki, who enters the episode?
Oh God, it's Doomsday, motherfucker.
So you can imagine this was a pretty big deal for a lot of people watching Justice
Yeah,
League. And you
I
think,
was surprised to see it.
yeah, yeah. So there is kind of a Doomsday is always a tricky thing, and you got to remember they did like the Superman Doomsday direct-to-video animated movie as their first movie in that line way back in 06, I think. So this is a pretty big deal. That hey, we're gonna adapt Doomsday, but we're not gonna do Death of Superman
I
because
mean,
we
it's pretty
basically,
much endgame material.
yeah, it is for sure, yeah. So that's the thing. They kind of had to. So they adapted them in a way that still works, but there's a payoff. But again, at the time, they did not see it coming. Point being, Doomsday, who actually speaks, who Doomsday usually never speaks. He actually speaks, and he has a little exchange with Superman saying, "What do you want here? Power, I imagine, and control." And the idea Doomsday went down there to kill all human life just for the challenge of it all, look for a worthy opponent. Which, I mean, if you were to make Doomsday smarter, I mean, that would make sense. They're trying to economize. We can't have Doomsday just be buried in the earth randomly and just plowing his way through and fighting Superman for 7 episodes. We can't do that.
Sure, sure.
So we got to economize. So, if they're going to take a stab at Doomsday and try to do something with him, I think it's
I
not
mean, I
bad.
think it makes sense in the context of this episode.
Plus, given what we do at Doomsday, we do kind of make him the mindless brute for when he comes back later in JLU. So I think we found a way to even things out retroactively. I think it all worked in the end. So
Uh-huh.
okay, so we have some fighty fight, as you know, some cool fighty fight though. Is
Yeah,
to give it credit.
this is kind of the part of the episode you probably expected this, where it's like, and they
Yeah,
fight, 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 fight,
you
fight,
got to
fight, fight,
admit though,
fight.
it was well staged fighty fight.
Yeah.
It was,
I noticed that right at the start of the fight, they run into a Bernie's newsstand.
yeah,
Is that a Watchmen reference?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yep, yep. So let's see. So oh
I
yes,
mean,
I
you're
love.
right, Dragon. It's a cool fight. I'm just saying, it goes on. It drags a little bit.
I'm gonna say you gotta remember the reason this fight was cool is that when you did the Death of Superman comic and you had like the other heroes that were fighting before Superman just went mano a mano with them. It was a bunch of no names. You didn't have like the main Justice League fighting them, so that was pretty cool
Uh-huh.
though. It's like okay, anyway. The point being, I love the callous line that Justice Lord Superman has before this fight, saying, "They'll be so grateful they'll roll right over." That
Oh
God,
man.
that's Superman with an agenda is just legitimately scary to me.
All right, Lord Wonder Woman stopping a train. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Martian Manhunter gets lit up, which they were always dodgy about the fire being the weakness with him. So that was like any lip service we can give to that was kind of cool. Um, By the way, Lex, he's schmoozing a guard. The idea is that Lex can escape prison frequently because he bribes the guards. Like, this guy has the family enjoying that TV.
Right.
So he's being led back to his cell during all this. Let's see. So okay. Anyway, so the fight basically gets to its course here. It gets to it, builds to its end, to its climax, where Superman's fighting Doomsday, and as Doomsday is getting chatty and like denouncing everything, he's about to beat the crap out of Superman. Superman lobotomizes him.
Yes, and that's such a freaking dark, twisted thing for him to do. I mean, would you say it's worse than killing him?
I mean, again, if I recall, when we see Doomsday next, he has a vendetta against Superman because he lobotomized him and turned him into kind of the mindless,
Right,
brute. So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With this,
that's a clever way to go about Doomsday being mindless. I mean, it's like, let's face it, it's certainly a lot better than like, oh, it's the fucking corpse of Zod or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, retroactively, that element to it makes it really good. Like, we've given a legitimate reason for Doomsday to fight Superman the way he does. But yes, you're right, though. It's a brutal move. Again, it's the heat vision, yet again, being a very terrifying thing. The power that Superman could use very unappropriately like this. But also, it's an exercise in control here, where again, it's by the way, it's a Red Sun nod. Where in Superman Red Sun, he basically not through heat vision, but he lobotomized a bunch of people, and he basically re-educated them in the Red Sun book. So it's kind of like a practical take on that. Like, what's the most horrific way we could do lobotomization in like 2 seconds? Like, he's gonna like right through the frontal lobes with the heat vision,
right?
And just the fact that you see like cops with guns just going up to Doomsday, like, well, there's no one home. We can put our guns away. Like, oh god, it's terrifying. And Lois is shocked, and yet the other people support it, which makes sense that some people would be in support of this sort of thing. So I like that there is yet again a proportionality argument to be had. Well, this guy was going to kill everyone, and he stopped him in like 2 seconds.
Sure. It is a very, very more. It's honestly one of the most morally gray things I've seen on the show so far. Honestly,
absolutely. So then, of course, like Snapper Carr's asking, "Hey guys, what's with the new suits?" And we have kind of our 2 chilling lines here, where he says, "We thought it was time for a change." And then we have the ultimate kind of like the way Joker knows Batman. Lex is smart enough to know that's not them.
Oh yeah, and I love how he says it just kind of cocky too.
I think it's appropriate we end both parts with Lex at the end of the episodes. I thought that was a really good move. So, part 2.
Alrighty.
All right, so this is where all the good stuff happens, folks. Not that the front runner stuff wasn't good. This is where all the really cool stuff happens.
The front runner stuff was really good setup, and it had a really good action scene, so it's all good stuff. But yeah, this is definitely where things heat up.
Yeah. No pun intended. So Justice League are captured. They're in these highly secure cells, which happens only like twice in the series, by the way. They get captured in like cells that are legitimate, like they're really boned. Like this. Batman comes to, and who is he greeted by? None other than himself.
And so, of course, Dragon, the Batman on Batman stuff is obviously the reason why this is getting its own episode. Yeah.
Exactly. So again, this is kind of Batman's worst nightmare to a degree. This is basically Batman's fear of like if he crossed the line, the whole slippery slope thing. It's a little more implied. Like this Batman, we don't say that this Batman's killing people left and right, but the implication is he probably killed people. It's
literally him coming face to face with his own demons. It's a very clever plot device for sure.
It's like, I have one question: why?
Mm-hmm.
It says you and your, you and your friends couldn't. We're doing what you and your friends needed. Sorry, I'm butchering this. Basically, what we're doing.
You can do it.
We're doing what needed to be done that you and your friends couldn't do, essentially. So, all right, let's see. So anyway, the conversation continues to go on. Essentially, Batman. I love that Batman's already figuring out a way out of this thing, and the other Batman just kind of cuts him off at the knees here, saying, "There are mercury switches in those manacles. Any move you make, I'll know it."
And I like that this for one of the first times in all of this canon, we see Batman genuinely kind of defeated because he realizes like, oh shit, this guy is me. He's going to have every one of my moves countered.
Mm-hmm. Just Batman has absolutely met his match. I mean, Hard Act Batman was like a for a blip, but then it was a robot that Batman outsmarted. But this is not the same thing. This is the only So just you've thought of everything? No. Just everything you'll ever think of. Oh, that's such a chill. It's a great line. Like, yeah, you are outmatched here, buddy. You were everyone's only hope of escape, we thought. So then we have a really great solemn bit where, again, this Batman, as we know, Batman takes every loss very personally. So he walks by the Flash's cell, and all the Justice Lords have a connection to the Flash because they lost theirs. So just Batman just staring at him and just like, he's alive. I mean, the idea of Batman is to determine, I will keep this Flash alive. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to keep him alive this time. I'm not going to lose him again. It's like Batman getting a rare second chance. Like I can save my parents again to a degree.
Totally. Batman's all about those rare second chances. It's like he lives for them, you know?
Yeah. Of course, Flash not really in the hugging mood right now. What are you looking at? Huh? It's like basically Batman trying to explain we're doing this for your own good. Then our Batman explains to the Flash like they lost their Flash. He basically deduces that they probably lost their Flash, which is probably led to the alternate path that they took. Again, world's greatest detective. It happens. So Batman thing, I think I'm absolutely sure that Batman left the escape to the Flash knowing he was going to do something unpredictable here, where it's like, yeah, I'm not. He tells Flash, like reverse psychology, I'm not going to get us out of here. I can't. Which leads the Flash to do his awesome flatline escape. How awesome is that escape?
I will say that the flatlining thing is maybe the coolest thing that I have seen the Flash do in this continuity so far, Dragon. I really was geeking out about it a lot. I thought that was such a cool use of the Flash power set. So like such an outside of the box way to look at it.
They use Flash's powers really well, especially in the action sequence.
Dragon, it's so much better than "Run, Barry, run."
Okay, don't poo-poo "Run, Barry, run." You should poo-poo that it gets used so often, but yes, "Run, Barry, run" is
No, I'm just saying, it's like go faster, Barry.
Yeah,
that's literally all you can use your power set for.
See, only Tom Cavanaugh can save that at the end. Really, it's like he's the only one who says, "I'm going to get faster than you, and you're going to feel it, man."
No, but you know what I mean. It's like I live for creative, outside the box uses of Flash powers, man.
Yeah, absolutely, certainly, yes. So again, very clever move using the Flash's speed and taking advantage of the fact that this Batman has a very big stake in the Flash's survival. So then the humanity that he's basically Batman always cares about human life, especially the Flash's life in this case. So little fun fact: the code that gets Batman out of the cell the Flash plugs in 91939. That's September 1939, which. Depending on if you ask DC, they say that's Batman's anniversary.
I kind of figured with the 39, I kind of caught on to that. Yeah,
it's if you ask me and you ask anyone who I think who really knows, it's March 30th, but that's just me. Anyway, so let's see. So who could have anticipated you? It's kind of a cute moment between Batman and the Flash. So Superman's peeved, but they got to find Hawkgirl. They are in Gotham, which Batman does know, but this is an alternate Gotham, which things are topsy-turvy as we're going to find out. So Batman's got to find the portal home. So they kind of split up. Batman's going to deal with the portal, which he's got to do alone because it's going to be Batman versus Batman.
Naturally.
So let's see. So let's see. So Green Lantern figures with the topsy-turvy logic. Where would you take a sick bad guy in this world? Well,
I love this.
Classically be Arkham Asylum, which in this case, Tiki, I gotta tell you, I know this isn't supposed to be like big scary, but I gotta tell you, it's so disquieting to me. Just the whole Arkham as a utopian place just feels so unnatural to me. It kind of creeps me out.
No, I love that. It's so it's so creative the way they do that, Dragon.
So then we have the scariest thing in the episodes about that.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with all the other dark shit in the episode. Just banal, subservient Joker.
Oh, so here's the thing. So when I mentioned there were 3 appearances, I forget. Here's the thing, because I swear, because this Joker is so un-Joker-like, I didn't count him when I listed those 3 appearances. So technically there are 4 appearances in Justice League, but this one always creeped me out.
Mark Hamill's performance here, God damn, it's haunting.
And that is Mark Hamill, kids. Don't let it fool you. That is him. It's just
and
him
he also shows up as a restaurant patron later.
I know, yes, and I love that. I think he might have been the guard at Lois Lane's door. I'm not sure about that third one, but yes,
he's getting around.
Yes, but dear God, I always remember as a restaurant patron. I swear to you. Anyway, but yes, seriously. I love Superman's reaction to the Joker, just like knowing traditionally he's gone up against some of the world's finest. You know, the Joker sounds like, oh God, it's just so not right. It's like, hello, Superman, Wonder Woman. It's like,
oh my God, it's yeah. Oh,
he's got the lobotomy mark. So the idea is like all the Batman rogues have been lobotomized. You'll notice though, Two-Face is lobotomized. The ventriloquist, however, Face the dummy is lobotomized, but not Arnold Wesker.
Yeah, I love that. I love that little detail. I was so happy to see that.
such a great, hilarious idea. And we have the Flash staying behind, so they don't give away. The idea is like, oh, we'll just say we changed our old costumes, but the Flash obviously would be a dead giveaway. So he's waiting outside and he's chatting it up with Poison Ivy, he picks a flower. You think, oh God, she's gonna like throw like giant plant tentacles at him and stuff. And it's like, no, that thing used to bother me, not anymore.
Oh God.
So before we get the fighty fight, I love what leads us to the fighty fight. I love that even sane and lobotomized Joker, still crafty enough to the Martian Manhunter reads his mind, but he did not read the fact that Joker had like the fact that you can't get a full read of the Joker's mind. I think is really clever.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
What's the password? Applesauce. Yes. But Wonder Woman was supposed
to
say...
I like that a lot. Yeah.
I'll tell you the Joker's voice reminds me of. It reminds me of Fred Stoller. Do you remember Fred Stoller at all?
Name vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah, he pops up in things a lot. He's been on Everybody Loves Raymond. He's like the dreary cousin Artie or something from Raymond. I don't know. He's been in Seinfeld. He's like anyway.
I probably wouldn't know him off the top of my head.
Well, after this, look into him if you can. I think just you don't have to do it now, obviously. But anyway, so point being, Green Lantern calls him a weasel. Anyways, then we have this is a pull from Superman the Animated Series. I think you saw this. I think in the finale that you watched, where you had Superman's robots. So Superman has robots in the Fortress of Solitude that take over for him when he's off world. So basically, they will fight with a bunch of these. We decapitate one, yada yada. But let's get to the real stuff. So, oh God, one of the two big scenes of the episode, Batman versus Batman, hasn't happened since his Silicon Soul, and not only that. It's an existential debate.
Yeah, totally.
It's perfectly staged. How crazy awesome is the staging on this, Tiki? Like, you don't see any of their mouths move during any of the scene.
Right.
It's like every time the Batman you think you're watching is speaking, you turn away, so it's the other one. It's great.
Yeah, that was clever for sure.
Of course, yeah, give you the psychological kind of ethical debate effect here. Just like, he's kind of debating with himself in the psychological sense.
Yeah, I like that it's like a battle of words. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but it's kind of like that. It's like a debate, but then also like them using the shadows to their advantage, and then it's a very creative, and I will call it a fight scene, even though they're not really punching each other.
Yeah, like a few nicks here and there, but yeah. It's like absolutely. The Talent Beast has some good points. Let's wait till the end of the scene, though. We'll bring them all back to the scene. So again, we have just Kevin Conroy in both of these scenes. He delivers such a stunning performance, I felt, because he's got to play two Batmans with a very different life experience and perspective, and you kind of buy it. Whereas I do my best work in the dark. He's like, you should have crossed the line and come out into the sunlight, but I do my best work in the dark. I used to think so too. Anyway, so he basically gets to the point where he's saying, "What have you accomplished? You've scared some punks, put a few in jail. Doesn't add up fast enough." Basically, it's essentially it's like either change or you change your path. Essentially, you change your path. If you want to change the system, you can't be subtle about it like you've been through since Batman the Animated Series. You have to take advantage of your connections with the Justice League.
What's cool about that is it kind of puts like into perspective like literally the entirety of Batman the Animated Series, and kind of makes you double think it a little bit.
And again, it's really crazy because it's basically saying it's kind of the thing that already has kind of made us uneasy at times where, man, Batman in broad daylight fighting alongside the Justice League feels a little off. And we're basically calling that out where, Batman doesn't feel comfortable doing that. And here's kind of why. If he does, it's kind of like him inching towards like, I'm becoming a superpower with these guys. And maybe I don't like how that feels. Because of the temptation, as I mentioned earlier. Again, why Batman stays a part-timer. So anyway, then Justice Lord Batman delivers the ultimate sales pitch here. Dear God,
it's a total like crescendo. It's a knockout punch of words.
Tiki, when they were writing this, basically the way they wrote this scene is the best of the writers, like your Dwayne McDuffie's, your James Tuckers, and your Stan Berkowitz's. They were basically like throwing it back and forth in the room, like, okay, well, how do we write this scene? Well, let's argue both sides of the debate, and they kind of hit this crescendo. It was like, well, we can't really argue our way out of this. Let's just end of act.
Yeah. I think that was super smart. Yeah.
Of course, the sales pitch being, your mission's accomplished. Basically, your mission's accomplished is a world with no pain, no victims, no crime, but no choice. Who elected you? Who elected you? And just democracy, it helps. Helps, but doesn't keep you very safe, does it? So then I'm sorry. Again, it gets to the important part here. Basically, you grab power, and then we have the killer. Here's the line. Here's the coffee is for closers moment. You, like our Batman saying, you grab power, and then the retort is, and with that power, we made a world where no 8-year-old boy will ever lose his parents because of some punk with a gun. And you see, it's like, oh my god, and you see the realization.
KO! Knockout!
And it's not just like it's not our Batman winning in this scene. Like, dear God, our Batman's been knocked out with a debate. We've been out Batman.
Yeah, totally.
Like, oh my God, just the realization on his face, and you feel it, and the score is perfect. And he just drops, a moment of pause goes by. He drops that Batarang and delivers so solemnly, you win. Like, there's your act break. Oh my God. And I love, by the way, I'm sorry, before we're going to get into a Tom piece stuff right now. It's like Batman. He holds back. Basically, Batman, I think he feels that truth that the Just Lord Batman, like, he still feels everything that Just Lord Batman told him. But we know for the later scene, he held back. He had a response to that. He did, but he held it back. So it's kind of our Batman being really clever about, like, he has a point. Batman thinks about it for a second before he drops that Batarang. And he's just going to hold it off to kind of play the long game to sway the Just Lord Batman to his side. So on the rewatch, that's amazing.
Sure.
Okay, so Tom Beast has some good points.
He says, think about this. When Joker broke Tim Drake, do you think Batman was playing Lord Batman's punk with a gun speech over and over again in his mind?
I think there was absolutely regret after what happened to Tim Drake. So that's a heady thing when you factor in the entire DCAU, man. That's the cool thing about factoring in Justice League.
And that's the cool thing that we're, now that we're this far along into our little multi-year Dragon, has it been 5 years that we've been doing Batcave?
I mean, at least there might have been more, but at least 5, yeah.
Okay, so we're literally like this whole process will probably take like close to a decade when it's all said and done.
Well, that's the thing. There was kind of a break in between, so that's the thing. Do you count the years in between, or do you count the years we've been doing it? So
I count the years in between.
But in that case, it's definitely 5, might be 8.
Oh dear. Oh God. Wow.
It could possibly be 8, but definitely 5.
That's insane, actually.
I would say if you count the space in between, then yeah, it's
Oh man. All right. Where did the time go? Anyways, so yeah, we're now to the point where it's like I can compare and contrast what's been going on with with the Justice League stuff. Like I said, like the whole punk with a gun thing, it really does kind of like put some context behind literally everything that we saw happening in Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, very very excited that we're kind of like knee deep into the thick of things right now with where we are with this thing. All right, let's see. So what's next?
All right. Just real quick, Tom Beast says, in a way, Lord's Lex got the last laugh from the Joker by breaking Batman. But yeah, essentially, Batman's kind of like Batman's kind of pointless now.
Right.
Okay. So that brings us, basically, we already kind of covered the fighty fight stuff that kind of breaks things up. So essentially, Just Lord Batman it seems like Batman, we have a team up of Batmans here, it seems. But again, I just love that our Batman's kind of running a bit of a con on the other one, saying, I'll go along with you. Like, let's go stop my friends at Arkham Asylum. And of course, knowing that I'm going to sway them on the way over. It'll be fine.
All right. So then we have Mark Hamill, annoyed patron.
I love this.
This is great because it goes from like just a funny like Mark Hamill bit to like, oh my God, like, oh Jesus, that's how little our personal freedom means in this world.
So real quick,
we can't even bicker over a check, Dragon.
So just to tee that up, because we have a really great setup of this scene here, like as they pull up to it. So they're in the Batmobile in broad daylight, and like Batman's like, really, this is Gotham? It's like it's so clean, it's so sanguine. It's like again like a Gotham without the need for Batman. It's more 60s Batman than 60s Batman's ever been. So they pull up and basically he argues broken windows. Now, broken windows is kind of a police saying. Tiki. Broken windows means enforce the little laws to enforce big change. And that's essentially the logic that the Just Lord Batman's arguing here. That's why Batman kind of stops at the traffic light. And then we bear witness to the amazing bit here, where, as you said, Mark Hamill, patron, irate diner over this check. 5 and 5 makes 15. This is ridiculous. I'm not paying for this. So he's making a spectacle. The matron tries to calm him down, and then very, very eerily. And I love that Mark Hamill's a part of this scene, just giving the Batman of it all, by the way.
Yes, totally.
It's a little touch, but I really liked it. It's the fact that it added like an extra haunting element to it, where he's arrested and he's very apologetic, and just the realization, like I think we've all been once we've kind of had a tantrum in public and you're getting called out on it.
Dragon, literally, if you got arrested for this shit, I feel like 80% of the public would be in prison.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think deep down, I'm afraid that something like this is going to happen. It's like, okay, let's pull back on the reins a little here. So basically, our guy's being cut through. No, the food was good too, as he's being led away by essentially the kind of military police kind of occupying force thing here. As he's being led away, and the pause is what gets me. I have the great music that's playing here. It's really haunting, kind of lingering on the scene as all the diners kind of stopped. And then they went back to their meals. And then you had the killer. Here's the killer. Again, Conroy is killing it this episode. And dear God, he brings it home with one of the great Batman moments of Justice League. Because he never refers to his parents like this simply. And I love this, where he just says, they're both looking at the scene here. Batman says to Justice Lord Batman, basically what he held back on in the cave, saying, "They love it here, don't you think? Who? Mom and Dad. They'd be so proud of you."
Oh, man. And again, it's like, KO, knockout.
Our boy had an answer. Our boy wins the debate.
It's literally a battle of words, Dragon.
Yes, and it's just like the Just Lord Batman's like,
both delivering just like knockout verbal punches at each other.
It's like that bit in Cobra Kai. It's the mutual knockout, like bam.
Right.
So absolutely, just the only response he has is just drive, because he knows he's lost. It's how can you beat that? And it's like, in all seriousness, though, again, as much as fun and awesome and just gobsmacking as that is, in all seriousness, so that's what's conveyed in that scene so beautifully is, yes, you've accomplished the mission, but what was it for? Do you think our parents, if you're dishonoring the memory of our parents,
sure,
they wouldn't want this. And that's how you win Batman back. And that's how it's all in perspective for him. That it's wonderful. Oh my God, the writing is so beautiful on that. But okay, so back to the action. Green Lantern saves Hawkgirl. He's ticked off because he loves Hawkgirl.
Can I notice that? Can I mention that the animation on Green Lantern when he finds Hawkgirl is it's very subtle character work there with how shocked and heartbroken he is to find her in that state.
Also, they're playing the love theme, which they started in a Savage Times, when they're hinting at the love theme, which pays off at the end of the season. That's nice. Okay, so there's a bunch of armed forces outside of Arkham, and who the heck is going to save the day here?
I don't know who.
Justice Lord Batman.
Of course.
So he's saving the day, and he's telling the lieutenant, these prisoners are mine. I'm taking him back.
I really like this, the whole thing where it's like, we're taking the back way.
But also, I love that this lieutenant is like, how do we know you're not just one of them? You got the costume right. And then Batman's goes up to him, gives him the old bat.
Which just goes to show you, like, the layers of paranoia that this world exists in.
Yeah. Just walks up to him. He gives him the bat glare. Are you questioning my authority, Lieutenant? Can you imagine Batman being the most terrifying boss to have ever?
Oh, my God.
Are you questioning my authority, Lieutenant? We'll leave out the back way. It's a really cute bit with Superman. It says, "Man, nice. How'd you get the costume? I really thought you were him. I am him." He just walks out there. Okay, so the Flash basically he's I love that Flash is kind of basking in the fact in the back of so I really am the heart and soul of the team, aren't I? He goes, "Come on, Jiminy, let's get out of here." Little nod of respect between the Batman, and then basically we have our climax.
Yes, yes.
So basically, our climax, long and short here, is Superman's posed to Batman. Well, you're the smart guy. How are we going to get out of this? I mean, like, if we can't kill him, obviously.
Uh-huh.
So what do? Well, we have to cross some sort of line, which gives Superman an idea. So Lex seemingly is taken a hostage inside the prison as he's attempting to escape. Justice Lord Superman's leading the charge with his Justice Lord pals, and they go to the prison. So we reveal it's a setup. Lex is not Lex. He's the Martian Manhunter.
What a twist!
Which is a cute reference to Injustice for All. Because remember, Lex was tricked into thinking the Martian Manhunter was Superman, so that's kind of cute.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So, then you have, the Justice Lords. Basically, they're in the same exact kind of electrified room trap from earlier, only it was made to look like the prison cell. They break out the same way with Hawkgirl. Our Green Lantern's a nicer guy. He kind of hesitates, which then leads to some fighty fight, but really good fighty fight. My favorite bit in this fighty fight, Wonder Woman uses the tiara to stop herself.
Yes. That was a good action bit.
There's a Wonder Bats moment for you, and she only uses the tiara like a... She does the Linda Carter thing, man. She only does it like twice in the series, but still, it's awesome. She throws the tiara, man, like a batarang. It's awesome. They have some cool flash powers, like throwing like the rocks like a machine gun at Superman, and then we have the chilling bit between Superman and Flash, where Flash is they're in the warden's office, and Flash is like trying to play the conscience card. Like, you can't do it, can you? I'm the last bit of conscience that you have.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, Dragon. It's like, how often do you get to say that the Flash is in a scene that's genuinely chilling?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I don't know, because obviously I haven't watched it all, but like this seems like new territory for the character, as far as I'm concerned, at least in this continuity.
I mean, for sure, Flash was always like, well, in a bind, we need to lighten up the mood. Go to a Flash bit.
Right. By the way, I love the move that Flash does of throwing the rocks at Superman like they're bullets.
I know, right?
That's another like super creative use of the Flash power set that's not just run, Barry, run!
Also, look at the animation on... This is really cool. This is kind of what we do later in the Justice League. I guess both versions, technically. Where you have like, the fight with Superman in slow motion, where in this case, it's not slow motion, but look at how smooth like Flash like dodges Superman's moves at super speed. It's really, really nicely done. Anyway, let's see. Oh, there's an animation faux pas. As great as this episode is and it looks, there was one brief animation faux pas. It's already passed, so for basically Green Lantern, when he shot the ring in one shot, they flipped it, so the ring's on the wrong side.
Oh, man. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a shame because the episode looks so great.
Oh, God, how embarrassing.
It's like a blink and you miss it, like all sorts of stuff. So,
that kind of stuff has honestly never bothered me in the slightest, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's not a problem. It's like a no price sort of thing. It's like, look, it's like Batman's symbol.
Yeah.
It's inverted. So, okay, the point being, when Superman is like holding the Flash up by the neck here, he says Superman's response is just really chilling here, where he says, "I've done a lot of things I never thought I'd do in the past 2 years. One more thing won't hurt." It's like, oh God, like Superman,
Jesus,
just the fact that the death
that is how you do evil Superman. There's like an air of consciousness to it, just a tinge. It's like evil Superman can't just be like, fuck all y'all,
Yeah, it can't be like, I'm going to throw shade at that new Injustice animated movie. It can't just be killing teenagers, okay? I hate it when Superman kills teenagers. Okay, we can't just have him laser a bunch of teenagers because they're offending the memory of his wife. We can't do that.
Oh, dear. Oh, no. Oh, God, I don't even want to know.
You don't want to know, all right? It's just...
Oh, Jesus. That sounds... Dragon,
good.
when you said that, I kind of got a chill up my spine. I'm not joking.
Oh, it's not good. And that's, to me, that was the irredeemable point of no return for that movie for me. That was when, like, I'll go with I'll give some of the stuff a benefit of the doubt until that moment happens. That's it. We're done for.
Because once again, that just gets into like Lois Lane being the toxic codependent relationship that the world literally depends on.
Yep, and again...
I don't like that style of writing. It's icky to me.
And again, it's a shame because the Injustice comic was so much better.
Yeah.
Anywho, the point being, yeah, the fact that that's when you realize Superman is so far gone, where like he did all this because of the Flash. The point where like, I'll kill an alternate universe Flash to deliver my point, or well, you shouldn't be around here anyway for trying to save save this world. Because just compared to the Justice Lord Batman, who's all about saving this Flash, he's looking at it simply as that. It's like this guy's messed up.
Yeah, Tom Beast has a good comment here. He says season 2 knows where to place the fights. In this case, both sides must fight to decide whose morals and beliefs need to lock up.
Yeah,
and indeed, and like I said, this whole episode has been basically like there has been a lot of fight stuff, but the most compelling stuff has been the battle of words for sure.
So our big solution, because you think we're just going to fight to kind of like a draw.
This is a freaking genius solution.
Yes, it is, and I love that again. I love that Batman setup.
And Dragon, what I love about this is that it's definitely the DCAU like really going all in on continuity.
Absolutely. So we've set up that Lex, he's outed. He's no longer the prosperous businessman. He's been a criminal. He's been supervillain Lex, but he's been in the suit and everything. So he's been a bad guy. He's been in prison. So Lex, I'm sure he's not crazy about that. So Superman and Lex team up. Basically, what we learn is that Superman struck a pardon for Luthor. I guess like a presidential pardon of some sort of government pardon. Basically,
and I imagine this is going to be like a monumental, like cosmic shift in the continuity.
But basically, take all of this. Justice League Unlimited is where all the payoff of this Lex stuff happens. So that's So it's the fact that Superman and Lex have reluctantly teamed up. Lex has his power disruptor he was going to use at the top of the episode. Essentially, the power disruptor zaps away powers. And yes, the writers have fully admitted, by the way, big Deus Ex Machina. Totally. This was the epitome. Totally. We use this. You know
what? I don't care just because of the continuity implications of the team up with Lex. I really don't care.
So
it comes out of nowhere, but whatever.
I'm saying we use this pull all the time. This is the most appropriate version of it ever for Justice
League. Right.
We don't care. Look how amazing this episode's been. We don't care. And if you're really worried about it, they called it out later that Lex said, well, Superman took the weapon back. So it's not like Lex still has it. So Superman wasn't that dumb. It's fine. Anyways, the point is, Lex relishes the opportunity. I love Justice Lord Superman. It's like, oh, it looks like there's the company you keep. There's the true shade, says the man who's about to kill the Flash.
Right.
Anyway, so Lex fires on all the Justice Lords. It's a really lucky he shot the right Martian Manhunter, by the way, because they were both shape-shifting. Really lucky, but so now Superman is depowered and they're arrested. I guess sent back to their universe, I presumed. Anyway, so Superman's like, well, this team up was better than the alternative. And Justice Lord Superman is so irate as he's been arrested here, just saying, everything that he does now is on you. It's your fault. And again, as you said,
I love that. I love that performance too.
Yep. Again, George Newbern, man. He's no Daily, but he's great.
Yeah, I wish it was Daily. That's the only thing. Yeah,
we all do. But again, Newbern.
I know. I mean, I don't want to just poo-poo the guy because he's not Daily. I'm sure his performance is really good in its own right.
He's a big boy Superman, though. He's been around. He's the wizened Superman.
He's the big boy Superman.
God. He is. He's the older wizened Superman. After he's a post.
I mean, Dragon. After I've lived through Vogel Kermit, I don't think anything is going to sound as wrong as that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Quite frankly,
that's what I'm saying. Trust me.
Anyways,
okay, so Superman tells. Then we have this is. I'm sure you love this, but Superman tells the Flash that I knew you weren't going to be able to sway him because I felt like that sometimes. So
totally.
You're really not the Boy Scout after all, are you? Never made it. Never.
Yeah, I really like Superman getting vulnerable with the Flash, and I'm willing to bet this is probably one of the first times we've seen such a deep interaction between the two.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
And also, never made my first merit badge. So then we have a little homage to Superman 4 with the flag. He kind of brings up the flag.
Okay, you know what? I actually, that got me, man.
Yeah, right?
It got me. It's
nice.
It's a freaking Superman 4 homage, but I feel the emotion in it.
Yeah, and again, there was a political context to the episode.
Totally,
and of course, speaking of political context, and the reason I really like the flag transitions us from Superman lifting the flag, again, fighting for freedom, basically fighting for everyone's freedom versus what the Justice Lords were trying to impose upon everybody.
Totally, yeah.
To what the Justice Lord Superman was talking about. So Lex is basically Lex is running for president now, and he's in a gray suit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice he's going to be in that gray suit when he's basically trying to play the good guy running for president. Which, again, we saw what happens when Lex becomes president. Flashes get killed, and the nation's on the brink of World War III. So bad things are coming for our guys in Justice League Unlimited.
Okay, now, Dragon, is this like we've got more Justice League stuff to cover before Unlimited, right?
Yeah, we're almost done Justice League.
Okay.
We have about I want to say we have two debatably. We got to talk if we want to do a third. But we have two episodes of Justice League left for sure.
Gotcha. So yeah, we're wrapping up to get to that point. So that's exciting.
And also remember, Justice League Unlimited's outside of one episode, they're not two-parters. So
that's good. That's good. And that'll definitely make things easier
for sure. Yes. So the ambiguity here. Perhaps this is the beginning of the Justice Lord's reality. Perhaps who knows. Okay, that's the episode.
All right, so yeah, I honestly, Dragon, talking through it and kind of like talking through the broader implications, I'm liking this more. It's not that I didn't like it; it's just like the Batman stuff. It's obviously light on Batman. Like I said, Dragon, I would give I on it. It kind of makes me wish we had actually covered that one. Even though it wouldn't have made because Batman in that one episode, the
Savage Time,
Savage Time, it literally is like a bookend, right? Like he comes in at the very beginning and the very end, and they're both awesome moments. But still, this is definitely kind of cut from the same cloth. It's not necessarily a Batman episode per se. I would say it's more of a Superman and Flash episode. But the stuff that Batman does get is phenomenal. And, the war of words, Conroy v. Conroy is, just a sight to behold for sure.
Yeah, final thoughts for me. Again, for me, it's an iconic Hall of Famer episode for Justice League. It's a biggie. I mean, you got that, you got Twilight, you got obviously your Star-Crossed.
And then, of course, all the setup. Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what I'm saying. This episode is kind of obviously the best stuff in JLU is because of this is so strong because of this episode, which I mean, retroactive makes this episode even stronger. It took again. I love that this episode took like the simple, classic Star Trek kind of like evil Kirk and Spock thing, and but gave it dimension, which was such a smart call in the writing. It's an actual compelling debate and addressment of should our heroes cross lines, which clearly no, because it makes us feel all easy and all creepy inside. Like, oh god, it's so not right. He's lobotomizing,
right.
He's lobotomizing people. He's gonna kill the Flash because why not? Oh god. Anyway, so all that again. Now that we've, it's something that we now take for granted. Out of the, it's something we just take for granted so often now. Where it's. We do it so well. We do it at its best here. We do it a little less. Not that this is bad. We just do it a little less subtly in Injustice, where it's less kind of really great, compelling dialogue.
A little less subtly.
No, I mean the comic, Tika. The comic.
Okay, fair enough.
I know that's the thing. Now it's annoying because now every
how
time
dare you, punk teenager, spit on my wife's grave?
That's the thing. It always ticks me off. And every time I mention Injustice, I have to clarify it now because they dropped the ball with the movie.
Right.
To the point being, like in the Injustice comic, it's essentially the same idea, just a little more. It's more thematic than it is like really great dialogue that kind of feeds. Anyway, the point being, it's a little less subtle but good because Injustice is built entirely around evil Superman, where this is like factors in evil Superman. And you have, of course, Snyder down the line with just the oversimplification of this sort. Here's a really good idea, and Snyder boiled it down to punching each other, lasering guys, bro. So some of Justice League's finest Batman moments are in this episode. I love the I love everything. I love everything about how just seeing like how odd it is like to see Arkham and Gotham just kind of cured, just seeing the mission accomplished and everything. And it just in a way, TK, it kind of gave us with the Batman side of things, it gave us another perchance to dream in a sense. And the heavier thing is that the difference between perchance
kind of like a less trippy and more kind of thoughtful perchance to dream.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense of this is a tangible and real thing that Batman could accomplish instead of like, no, Batman's big stickler was that it's not real. Well, no, this is real and you can accomplish your mission by doing this. This is like the cheat code, you can do this. So just a lot of fascinating things. Just a great episode, man.
Yep. Right. Okay, Dragon, take us out. What's next?
A rogue revenge plot. The Batman in mourning. Reign of the Main Man as Superman? Can the Batman solve this mystery, or will he have to accept a world without a Superman? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Hereafter. Oh, and also thanks to Tom Beast for joining us in the comments. You rock, buddy.
They're going to burn for it. Burn.
Come on, Superman. You can't just keep lobotomizing people. What's wrong with you?